raising the temp, yet people are going to start jumping out the windows. That's what happens. Okay, in a fire, right? People, I'd rather just die splatter. I'm not going to die slowly in these flames. And that's what's happening with the social economic structure in this country. It's bad, man. And I cannot be overly hyperbolic or exaggerate this. It's serious. It's serious. And the only way I know to fix all the problems we have, I mean everything, from abortion and prostitution and all the vices of drugs and alcohol, all this crap, man, to the murders, the homicides, the child pedophilia, the debt, national, local, state, the dubious wars, all the crime out there, the vast majority of crime that is. Okay, all these social ills is to increase the worth of our currency. That's it. That's the only light at the end of the tunnel I see. Okay, this is, to me, is fighting the good fight. It's saying we can't relent. Okay, this is a godly thing. This will save lives. People are dying. The God of the Bible is a champion of the poor. So everything I'm saying is very biblically based. Is that understanding basic economic principles is imperative. If we had any progress under a supply and demand, free market capitalist system, true capitalism, we'd see progress. And that progress would be evidenced by increasing the worth of your currency. That would increase your standard of living. That would decrease the burden that you feel in your life, the pressure, the stress, financial stress, through taxes and cost of living. Do you understand? So it's very essential to understand these basic things. And that you understand the connection, the correlation with spiritual things. Because ultimately, I'm just talking about a means to an end. I'm not talking about keeping money in perpetuity. I'm talking idealistically. So biblically sound and solid what I'm trying to convey. Okay? And it's based on truth and justice, the American way, equality, okay, freedom. That's it. That's what it means. That's all freedom to me is. If I'm not equal to everybody else, then somehow I'm being discriminated against, right? Somebody's got an advantage. That can't be the case. If it's okay that the Rothschilds are born advantaged or the Rockefellers, then it's okay that I'm born advantaged. You're born advantaged with the same advantage. That's what a level playing field is. Okay, that's as dictated by God, not by Che Guevara, okay? This is just pure logic in a godly package. That's what I'm trying to get across. That's what the Bible is. Okay, so economics and the Bible are very important. It's very important to God that we understand these things. That's why God got on the case of the money masters. Okay, he did in no way, by him loving his enemies, did he succumb to them and acquiesce, capitulate, and condone. He did not do that. He pointed it out. He said, you're evil, you're wicked. I know what you're doing. You're tricking these people. You're trying to steal from them. Okay, you're trying to indebt them to you. And this is how you're doing it. And I don't approve of that. God does not approve of that. That's sorcery. That's the seed of Satan right there. That's how Satan got power. Because once he committed the original offense of tricking us and deceiving us in the Garden of Eden, and we believed we had the knowledge of good and evil, and then death came eventually with the disease and all this crap, this curse that overcame us. When we were ashamed and we became cognizant that we were naked, which we were never supposed to do. You see what a departure that is from how we think now? Well, most of us can't imagine a world without clothes. And we don't have to, thank God. I mean, I don't want to live without clothes. So in the Bible, it talks about robes of righteousness. So we're always going to have some form of clothing. But I sure as hell can't imagine a world without money. This is a secondary trick that Satan installed. Okay, and it didn't happen overnight because it's just like anything. They got to do stuff incrementally, like boiling the frog slow enough so it doesn't jump out. We never got it soon enough. So here's where we are in the 21st century. We're all strung out on money, on Satan, on the mark of the beast. And that's it. So if you don't want the mark of the beast, maybe that's a metaphor for just get your head straight, man, and reject it and say no. No, I'm willing to lay all my cards on the table. I want God's will to be done. And if that means a world without money, without Satan, then, let heaven and earth fall, but let God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven, because I can't fight against that. That's fighting the good guy. That's fighting the guy I trust in. Okay, I can't do it. So I've got to, convert my opinion, my belief system to what his opinion is, what his belief system is. So it's not me trying to convince you to be an idealist. I'm telling you, he's an idealist. Jesus himself was the one that said, be ye perfect. What the hell does that mean? When there's not a human on the face of this earth, I'll bet that would raise his hand right now and say, I'm perfect. I'm sure as hell not going to do it. I'm a sinner. I get scared. I'm not even supposed to get scared. What does the Bible say about that? It says, fear not, like trust God. Trust also in me. It says that we shouldn't worry. Okay, we shouldn't have these problems, that the joy of the Lord is our strength. And the only way I know to attain that joy is by getting everything out of my system. I got to get it off my chest. I got to speak out. I got to do something because I'm not hearing anybody else doing it. Not enough people. I know they're out there. I know there's people a lot smarter than me. And the wisdom is something, once you get it, you can't just keep it to yourself. Okay, it's going to rot. That's not doing what God wants you to do with it. It's like the talents. What did you do with that wisdom? The story, the parable about the talents. This guy was given 1. This guy was given 5. This guy got 10. And what they did with it. And how the one guy just buried it in the ground. And then he said, well, you wicked slave, I entrusted you with that, and you should have at least put it in the bank for interest, as a metaphor. Okay. But do something with it, which would have been maybe posting a comment about, how you believe in the love of God as being the most powerful force in the universe. And this is how to bring people out of darkness into the light. If you believe you're in the light and they're in the darkness, if they're a communist or a crony capitalist, whatever, 2 peas in a pod, okay, to me, these people that want to combat each other make it about violence and intimidation instead of discussion. And just honesty and compassion for each other, and say, look, I know that your belief system wasn't made in a vacuum, and even if you're accepting money for being a provocateur, it didn't. I understand the forces, the power of the money. You're trying to pay your stinking rent. You're trying to keep a roof over your head and pay your bills, right? I mean, we should all get it and be compassionate and merciful. If God is, why wouldn't we? Why would we choose to have a different belief system? We've got to do that for each other. It means giving a damn. Okay, that's what it means. That's what loving each other means. And this is the way to please God. These are the most important commandments. And God makes commandments that don't fail. So this is the truth. This is the right direction to go. I'm telling you. And it's biblically based. So yeah, you could call me on that. You could stand before God and say, hey, well, this guy told me to look in the Bible and read the teachings of Jesus. I'm fine with you telling God that when you stand one-on-one before your maker. Okay, whatever the angels or Jesus, whatever you believe. Okay, but we're going to give account. All of us will. But I'm fine with you quoting me on that. But just if I'm not perfect. So not everything I say is bound to edify. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to tame my tongue. And, just say stuff that is in the right vein that God would want me to say stuff, in his spirit. But I really do care, and I'm trying to convince other people to care and to love one another because this is the commands. Love God above all else. That's rightful because he gave you the brain, that you have your ability to love. He gave you everything good that you have, ever have had, or ever will have. He's the source of those things. God's real, okay? And that's it. That's something you can hang on to, not just in this life, but forever. You're going to get resurrected. God owns the atoms of your body, even if you got cremated. The atoms don't leave the atmosphere. The earth is just growing. Every day there's cosmic dust falling on the earth. The earth keeps getting bigger. So God owns the atoms of every person ever cremated. So he can resurrect every one of us just like it's written. And that's the plan, is resurrect the wicked and the righteous. So this is a big deal. This is reality. Involves eternity. That's trustworthy reality. Okay, and so we've all got to come to our own consensus after great introspection and contemplation and circumspection, and look deep within our souls and then see the big picture, step outside the bounds of this world and see through God's eyes how he wants us to see. So we're seeing the macrocosm and the microcosm and how it all coalesces, and we're all part of this picture, this big cosmic picture for eternity. And it's just good heaped upon good if we're on the right track. Forever, it just gets better and better and better. But one thing's for sure is this earth has to be once and for all cleaned up. That means evil has to go down to the pit. Okay, and it's just a separation, that they're not found worthy. All the evildoers are not going to be found worthy to inherit a renewed earth. That's the plan in this new age that's coming, the renewal of all things. God's will is going to be implemented. And there is this clash, like that thunderstorm that's happening. And it's been happening. I believe it's happening at this moment, that there is other beings in the universe. There is these fallen angels flying around. And there is these holy angels flying around that God's using. And he uses them for his purposes. And for, they've got great power that we don't have. These are different kind of beings. That's all it means, is that, yes, there's more than just humans in the universe. It's a big universe, and even the scientists, astronomers, they concur. Drake's equation, that the likelihood is far greater, infinitely greater, that there is other forms of life in the universe. Okay, so we should get over that and accept it. Is that part of our paradigm now? No, we're not taught that from birth, that the likelihood is much greater, but this is what science even tells us. So, let's get with the program, the God's program, not these people that keep, this climate change alarmism and all this. This is part of the Georgia Guidestone thing. They want to make us so damn miserable that we lose our will to live. Don't do it. Say, I'm going to find a reason. I'm excited just to wake up today. This is cool. I've got this to be grateful for, that to be grateful for. I feel so lucky about this, so lucky about that. And I wish everybody was lucky, darn it. So I'm going to be a blessing to humanity. I'm going to go out and I'm going to be nice to people. I'm going to be kind. I don't care who they are. I'm going to try to be God's servant and slave and be a good one, damn it. I'm going to be his friend. That's all he really wants. It's not slave like a harsh taskmaster we're serving. We're serving a loving God. Slow to anger, quick to forgive, merciful, compassionate, empathetic, understanding. More than we can understand ourselves, he understands us. So he's working on our side. He's carrying us all the time. We're arrogant and conceited. We think it's us. Well, it's my decision. I'm doing this of my own self-will and all this crap. And it's not true. Anytime we make it through a storm in life, like Alex Jones out there getting sued by Chobani Greek yogurt, okay? By the way, Tillamook makes a much better product, I think. Okay, and I've tried both. That's my own unbiased opinion, because I don't have stocks in either company. So, but Chobani, okay, yogurt, I guess this Turkish not Turkish, Kurdish guy started this business, got purportedly some, I don't know, $100 million. I forget what the amount of the small business loan was, but it was much better than what's available to most people because he had connections. He's George Soros connections and all this, but he's been importing mostly refugees, I guess, from the Middle East to work at the plant, the yogurt plant in, I believe it's in Idaho or Iowa. I might not have that right, but maybe what's the state with all the Mormons? I guess that is I don't know. I forgot the state it's in. But it's primarily there. There might be separate plants located. But Alex Jones is getting sued. But he needs to really rely on the power of God. I mean, God is talking to him. He's got to just say, ask God to give him the right attorney that was willing to work pro bono for him, that he's not going to be motivated by money because they're going to try to string this thing out. He's got a defamation lawsuit. Let him bring it. And maybe there's a learning experience for you, Alex. But in the meantime, just fight the good fight. I mean, yes, you're being picked on. You're being harangued. This is how Satan works. He hates us. He hates anybody that is really righteous. And I believe that at the end of the day, you're a righteous dude. And that's what we all need to fight, the good fight. That's fighting the good fight. We all have our own pressures to deal with. And believe me, I get plenty of my own. Plenty. Okay, I know that I'm despised. Just being an idealist, okay, people think that's an excuse. I'm using that as a crutch. Whatever, it doesn't, that opinion is fine. You have your opinion, but you'll answer to God with that opinion. Okay, but if you want to condemn me with that instead of try to convince me you're right and I'm wrong, let's have the discussion, okay? Let's have the discourse, the debate, whatever. The argument, whatever the case may be. But in the meantime, I'm fully convicted of my beliefs. I believe that you can't go wrong when you prescribe to idealism. Okay, and this is what I believe the Bible is full of. This is what I believe God is full of. So that is where your strength comes from, is saying, look, at the end of the day, yes, I've said some stupid things. I apologize. But, to hit me financially, I don't think is fair. You've already humiliated me. And, now I got exposed. This guy sits on the Federal Reserve Board, chairman of the New York Federal Reserve, the most powerful branch of the Federal Reserve. board, whoever the owner of the Chobani yogurt is. But you know, so you know, I know you're getting a lot of prayers, Alex, and you know, stand strong and fight the good fight, and just you know, let God control your tongue. Okay, just ask for the Spirit. I guess that was my point. Is that's what it says when they bring you before kings and to answer and all this stuff, whatever, these judges, the rulers. Then just answer with the Spirit of God. Okay, say, yes, I want to testify on my own behalf. And just say, God, don't go with your own words. Tap in the Spirit of truth.